Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil makhluqin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. For last 3 days we were engaged seriously with some brainstorming session regarding where we engaged with so many complicated theoretical formulation that falls within the purview of science of Kalam. There were so many experiments were done in which laws from physics, psychology, mathematics and biology were reactants along with Ilm al-Kalam. Today, in my paper, instead of these natural sciences and positive sciences, I want to place anthropology, especially cultural anthropology, or it is also known as symbolic anthropology, in place of all these natural and positive sciences. In this attempt, it is my aim to incorporate one of the recent development in anthropological studies popularized by the Clifford Geertz, an American cultural anthropologist, in his studies on the Muslim societies of Indonesia, Malaysia and Morocco and so many other African countries. The approach is interpretive anthropological approach. In doing so, it is my aim is to revisit some theological polemical debates in my own country, especially in my Kerala, in my own state Kerala, where religious rituals and practices were the themes of these debates. In that, there was debates between Sunnis and Salafis. By debating so, using the old-fashioned, old-established anthropological methods, there was a tendency of constructing so many binaries. In those debates, some sects, a group of the Muslims, alleging others they are doing shirk and they are not on the way of Tawheed, they are kafirs. My attempt is to revisit these debates and try to change the nature of the debates from strong polemical to more dialogic one. Let us see what will be the result. I am not sure about this. I need your help also for more clarification in this. This is my title. I think you may be read that Significance of Meaning, Situating Interpretive Anthropological Approach in Revisiting Religious Rituals and Practices. Here, the importance for meaning construction. You may be aware about the social construction of the realities. That is also related with the meaning construction. Here, my argument is that for a single action acted by many, there may be so many meanings. That means a single act may have so many meanings. That is what I mean by the social construction of realities, of construction of the meaning. I started by introducing what is the interpretive anthropological approach and the key concept related with that. This is, on the basis of the approaches, social scientists devised to study religion in particular and culture in general. They have been classified into two groups. This is interpreters and explainers. You can see the difference between interpreters and explainers. Interpreters are interpreting religion and culture from the standpoints of the participants, that means actor, who is acting. At the same time, the explainer is only explaining on the manifest or the overt behavior of the actor. He is not actually participating in the action, and also he is also observing them detached from his subject of the study. There is a main difference between interpreter and explainers. Then comes to what is interpretive anthropology. It is developed as a part of the symbolic anthropology. In interpretive anthropology, there is a tendency to reduce everything into a text, then interpret it. That is the interpretive anthropology. This was developed by Clifford Geertz. This is a reaction against the Malinowski's and Radcliffe Brown and other Morgan and Taylor. All these were the classical anthropologists. This is a reaction against their objectivized, detached observation. They are also observing, but they are not participating in the group or activities. And on the basis of their stock of knowledge, they are giving meaning for others' action. This interpretative anthropology is a reaction to this established classical anthropological method. In the second one, Clifford Geertz in his work defines what is interpretative anthropology. One of the key terms related with it is the thick description. It calls for an epistemology and a writing methodology that will allow an anthropologist to interpret a culture by understanding how the people within that culture are interpreting themselves and their own experiences. This is a definition for the interpretative anthropological method. Then this thick description, that is a key to the interpretative anthropological method. Thick description for the first time brought into the studies by philosopher Gilbert Ryle. It was imported to anthropology by Clifford Geertz. Here is the difference between thin description and thick description. The explainers are using thin description, but the interpreters are using this thick description. In thin description, it is a physical action. It does not get much beyond outward appearance. It is a factual account without any interpretation. But here, they are analyzing everything, even the context, and when the time, and the cause behind it, and also who performed it, and his intention also. It needs a special training for the researchers to do this one. Then I want to cite one of the example from the Geertz work, the interpretation of culture, to have a better understanding of the thin and thick description. He also used this in his work, the wing example, wing. Two boys, I took only two boys, may have so many boys. They are winging their eyes rapidly, not contacting but contracting the eyelids of their right eyes. We know that, right eyes, they are on again. Two boys are doing this thing. And it has two meanings. I only mentioned here two meanings. One is an involuntary nervous twitch. I think there is a reflex action. While something foreign coming to our nose and entering our eyes, we are blinking our eyes and sneezing, something like that. This is also sometimes our eyes also blinking, our right eyes. That is the first one. That is a biological action, involuntary nervous twitch. That is called a twitch. The second one is a conspirational signal. Maybe it's to attract some girls. They are doing this. So, two or more boys are doing this. The action is same, but in case of the different person, this is different. There is a thin, then comes to the one. The two movements are as movements identical. From an IIUM camera phenomenologist observation, one could not tell which was twitch and which was a wing. IIUM camera method, just you are looking without going to ask him why you do this and without not doing. That is a IIUM camera method. The difference is unphotographical. Without interpreting or without devising this interpretative anthropology method, we could not find the difference between these two. We will also judge that all are twitching. But in the example, Geertz describes how one action, a wing, that outwardly appears to be the same can in fact have multiple meanings depending on the intentions of the person who actually perform it. Here is thin on account of thin description of the wing example. On account of outward appearance, one will perceive both wings as simply the same actions. Here, it may be wing, teaching, winging, fake winging, parodies, and also rehearsals of the paradise, different meanings for the same winking. Then I want to cite some of the examples for single action but different meanings from general history of Islam. Here is one, the incident of restoring the black stone. There was a controversy during that reconstruction of the Kaaba. There erupted a controversy between the tribal Quraysh, different tribal groups of the Quraysh. This dispute was settled by the decision of the Prophet ﷺ. He called the tribal representatives of the everyone and took a clothes. All these representatives took the side of the hold one edges of the cloth. Also, Prophet ﷺ also hold the cloth. Then all these as a team, they restored this stone on its place. That is the action. There was a team who participated in restoring the black stone Hajarul Aswad on its place during the reconstruction. Physical action, putting the black stone on its original place. Meaning given by the Prophet ﷺ, a sacred stone but not worthy of worship. By the tribal representatives, an idol-like structure worthy of worship. While during that act, two groups, there is only two groups. One is Prophet ﷺ and others. They were idol worshippers. In case of the Prophet ﷺ, he see the Hajar al-Aswad as it has from Jannah. That is why it is not worthy of worship, but only a sacred stone. But in case of others, it is just like an idol. Then another example, running between Safa and Marwa, two hills. When for the first time this was included as a mandatory rukun in the Hajj performance, some Muslims were reluctant to do that. And I think I am not remembering the ayah. فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ أَن يَطَّوَّفُوا, something like that.
إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما.
That ayat related to that. Why they were reluctant? Because before Prophet ﷺ's instruction, in Jahiliyyah, they were doing these types of a similar activity, that is running between two idols, Isaf and Na'ila. The physical action, running between two physical forms, hills and stones, meaning running between two stones was done as part of their idol worship in Jahiliyyah. Running between the hills was a mandatory rukun of Hajj in Islam. Then I am coming to the next point, the role of intention and context in the process of meaning making. We know that the famous hadith, innamal a'malu binniyat, everything is on the basis of the intention. Actions are but by intentions. That is one of the postulates. The next one is I took one from the happened during the Prophet's days, the incident of Al-Huruka. Al-Huruka means, I think it is a tribe or clan. I am not about that. It's a tribe or clan. Prophet ﷺ said some companions. Among them was Usama bin Zayd. And along with the others, Prophet ﷺ sent them to Al-Huruka to fight against them. They killed all of them, and at last they caught one. Soon he was caught. He recited La ilaha illallah. But then Ansari retreated. Along with Usama bin Zayd, there was another Ansari. He retreated from. But Usama bin Zayd, even after reciting La ilaha illallah, he stabbed him by his spear. And hearing this incident, Prophet ﷺ was so angry and he asked, "O Usama, did you kill him after he had said La ilaha illallah?" I said, but he said so only to save himself. During that period, he said that only to save himself. In another report of Amash, why didn't you dissect his heart to know? Did he say it or not? Did you dissect his body to see, did he recite it so or not? Intention. Another example, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam's calling by the sun as Lord. Hada, during his propagation of his Kaum, he recited when he sees sun rising, Hada Rabbi, Hada Akbar. But sun worship is not a part of Islam. Even after reciting this, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam remained as a Muslim. Intention, the role of intention is here. Then what Islam says about takfir. In Islam, takfir is a serious issue that should be handled very carefully. Because whoever pays like us and faces our Qibla and eats our slaughtered animals is a Muslim and is under Allah's and His apostle protection. So do not betray Allah by betraying those who are in His protection, who are Muslims. Another one, it is mandatory for a mufti to be careful as much as possible in attributing kufr due to the greatest danger inherent in it and the predominance of his unintentional state, especially when it is from layman. Another one, in his book, Tambihul Wulats wal Hukam, Ibn Abidin said that, it has been said that if there are 99 proofs of kufr but a single proof of his Islam, it is mandatory for the mufti to act in line with the latter. So in Islam, takfir is a serious case. Even the mufti and others should handle it with carefully. That means if there are any minute chances of having not kufr, then the mufti and others should take into consider that one and regard other 99 proofs of kufr. Then at last, this is my last part of the presentation. I am coming directly to the polemical debates in Kerala. This is between Sunnis and Mujahids. Mujahids means Salafis. In Kerala, Salafis are known by the name Mujahid because it is derived from their organization's name, Kerala Nadwatul Mujahideen. They are Salafis. Themes of the debates are polytheism, shirk, veneration of the saints and visiting their tombs, Maulid Nabi and some other forms of the ratibs. And I took only the istighatha. The difference between the Mujahids and the Sunnis, one of them is istighatha. Istighatha means the call for helping hand. And technically it means when a Muslim is in trouble, can she or invoke the intercession of anybody other than Allah. While it is agreed that Allah is the supreme power, invoking saints and the Prophet in times of the trouble is Islamic or otherwise. Then what do Sunnis says? Istighatha can be made to anybody other than Allah, like Prophet and saints. The sole and vital aim of these practices is to these great souls mediate between the believers and Almighty, or request their help, believing that such souls can help them prevent misfortunes and bring good fortune. And Sunni ulama find legitimacy to their practices, bringing in the evidence of Imam Busuri, who narrated that believers call the helping hand of prophets, saints, even after their death. Further, they argue that the Quran itself says that great Sufis will not die even if their physical body disappears from this world. Islamic scholars such as Imam Razi and Imam Ghazali narrated that we can ask help from these saints for getting rewards from the God. This is the argument of the Mujahids. Mujahids argue that istighatha to any other body than Allah is shirk and a violation of Islam. It for this reason that the Mujahids strongly condemn visitation to syncretic shrines and practices of Sunni Muslim communities such as Nerza, that is a feeding, something that is related with the Urus, Maulud and Ratib. The Mujahid leader Wakka Maulavi wrote in Al-Islam magazine that keeping a prophet or a wali between a man and a God with a belief that he can intercede with God by virtue of his supernatural powers and God would act according to his intercession is shirk. He is one of his main leader, this Wakka Maulavi. The Mujahids in Kerala believe that the saint worship and other ceremonies related to it are a kind of idol worship because in Islam a Muslim can worship only Allah. Then time is exceeded. I am going to the conclusion. I think this is the nature of the debate. All the debates were, during that debate, you could see that the textual approach in the debates, they are taking evidences from the text us, then they are arguing. But they are not going to the reality. What is the intention of those who are visiting the tombs and who are asking help to the saints? They are not going to ask what the meaning they are alluded or imparted to their actions. My attempt is that using this investigative anthropological method popularized by the Clifford Geertz could help us to dilute the polemical nature of the debates, then it will give for a more dialogical one. That is my attempt. Here I conclude my presentation. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.